Welcome to the Sith List. I keep wanting to say Scarlet Witch. WandaVision Explained. We're going to have some Easter eggs. Not a lot. There wasn't a lot. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Hold on for a second, guys. Okay, that's a lot better. We're going to have some Easter eggs, some explanations. We've got two great guys here to help us out. I'm Raj Dulachai from the Sith List, and my co-hosts, Les Gonzalez and King Tom Chansky. How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing fine.
A lot better now.
Yeah, I know. I was a little worried. But this one was crazy, and I wanted to let you guys know we stayed up till midnight. Les and I did. So I slept in the same shirt, woke up out of bed, 6:30 in the morning, got out. I didn't even fix my hair. I think I sprayed my hair real quick last night and just said, "Hey, stay," and hopefully it did. But we really appreciate you guys watching and hanging out with us. Wow, what an episode, guys! And I'm so happy I have Les and King Tom here because they are Marvel. I'm not gonna say experts because they won't let me say that on this show. But I'm just happy you guys are here to explain at least some of the things that we saw. Initial reaction. I'm gonna go with you, King Tom, first because Les. I saw it with Les last night. What did you think?
It was interesting. I'm into it. But at the same time, it's not like at the level of something like The Mandalorian or a movie. I want to see where they're going with it. And I was wrong because I thought this would all be something constructed by Wanda on her own in her head to cope with losing the vision and everything else that happened after Endgame. But it's clear that it's someone manipulating her to use her powers to create this. So that's a bit different. And I'm interested I want to see where this goes. I wasn't expecting to get 2 episodes
right
today, which was pretty cool. But I feel like not really much has been answered.
Right. I think you may be right about Wanda, but is it possible? And I think I talked to Les about this real quick last night. Is it possible that somebody has her and that's where she's going in her head, in the good place where Vision's back? And you know how, because we'll talk about it in a second, but she rewinded the storyline to make it work for her. So I wonder if she's held under her against her will, which I think Les brought this up last night. And this is something she's manifesting in her head. Les, what do you think about that?
That's definitely a possibility. Also, again, there could be this thing, like I said, for a quick little recap, there could be this thing where she's found her own place, like some type of sanctuary or something like that.
Right.
But her reality warping or her Infinity Stone based powers, because in the MCU it's different than in the books, but she's just in a state right now and just lashing out or doing something, and now all of a sudden they're trying to contain her. Remember, it's starting to be consistent now. We got I'm losing it, but in what Captain America movie where she for Civil War, right?
Mm-hmm.
She pretty much started Civil War, if I'm not mistaken, by losing control of her powers and not making the right decision. And she's always been on the list. Yeah,
the building, right?
She blew up a whole building. So it's either the precedent is already set, and this may be keeping in line with it. And now it's like, look, we've always had to watch Wanda Maximoff, and now we're now they got her in like some type of facility or something like that, or they just found her and they're like, okay, we gotta contain this. This could destroy the world. So that's what it seems like to me. It's either some like clean team came in there and
this just hit me right now, and we're gonna be all over the place because of lack of sleep. But what if at the end of this thing it's Magneto that's doing this to her? And this is we don't see Magneto, but we hear his name, and this is the introduction to the mutants.
What I would say is then you're gonna see me floating, levitating,
floating like Vision,
like this full on like with the third eye consciousness going on, because it just opens everything up. If they use WandaVision as a way, if Feige has been sitting back not saying anything and they use WandaVision as a way to bring the mutants into the MCU and slip it right under our chins and noses, dude. That
right.
I hate you because I want that to happen, and I don't know that
Dude,
that's going to happen.
I do too.
It just hit me like a ton of bricks right now. Wow, that would be crazy.
Don't give me hope, dude. Don't give us hope. Don't do that.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's one of those things.
What did you think? I know we're all over the place in the storyline and everything, but King Tom, what did you think of the style? Like Les and I absolutely loved the style, and we both said that if this show was on in the 50s and early 60s, it would have been a huge hit.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, why didn't they try back in the 50s and 60s? I'm watching this. Why didn't they ever try a sitcom? You know, we had a genie, we had a talking horse. There was an uncle from outer space or something.
Right.
Why didn't they do a superhero pretending not to be a superhero?
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, and I thought it was clever. It looked just like something out of the 50s. You know, we have the Ohio Historical Society a few miles from our house. We take the kids there. They have one of those prefab houses inside the building. And it's like it's like it was back, like if you were to walk in the door in 1955 or something like that.
Right.
And this was just like that, except everything, you know, down there is in color. The jokes, it was exactly those types of jokes, but they were funny because, you know, because there was no sitcom in the 1950s or 60s about a superhero.
Not only that, the style and the comedy we haven't seen since when we watched probably Nick at Night and those classics.
Right.
Like Dick Van Dyke Show. That house looked like a replica of the Dick Van Dyke Show. Well, it probably looked like all the houses, but
it was everything. That's why when you were bringing up the other like black and white sitcoms, and then I was like, dude, Ozzie and Harriet is one of those.
Right.
It had Leave It to Beaver. It had all the vibes. It had it hit all the marks as far as a throwback. And you know what else it did? For me, watching it on Disney Plus, it reminded me of when I first started watching Disney Channel as a kid. That was what they filled. It wasn't always Mickey Mouse. It was shows like this. Yeah.
I didn't know
that's why I kept saying Ozzie and Harriet. It was like that was the Nelson family. You know, it was like you watch that, and then of course I wanted my Donald Duck, but you know, you had
your Donald Duck.
Yeah, this is in that audience track. If they filmed this or premiered it in front of a live audience, gave them those audience cues to laugh at certain things, and not only that, let's give credit. We get Miss Ford from that 70s show.
Oh yeah,
pretty much reprising her style of or her character type of acting, and
so she freaked out.
Yeah. Oh man, that was
it got serious real quick with her.
And okay, so would that make them like the people in the town and that is like revolving around them in their orbit? Would that make them maybe handlers or some type of, you know, like doctors or therapists or someone just running these like tests? Because that scene at the dinner table, and she's like, "Stop it!" First, she was joking to him, and then she's like, you know, as it cuts in more, she's like, "Stop it, stop it," and then it's like, "Vision, stop it."
Right.
What if it's not so much handlers as we've heard that one of the characters is going to be Monica Rambeau, who ends up being Captain Marvel / Spectrum.
Yes.
What if it's like the Wizard of Oz, and she's taking people she knows from outside and implanting them in her subconscious, and they're not so much doctors, but they're other patients?
Very possible. Very
well, yeah,
possible.
because they're displaced now and they're losing it. And they're trying to, you know, they're being medicated. Yeah, I can see that. Like, they're being medicated. They're being, you know, just regular people over at Shady Acres. And then here comes wacky old Wanda, like, you know, just starting shake tables. And everybody's like, "Stop it, Wanda. Like, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Like, you're going to make us all get strapped down. Chill. Like, you need to chill."
But the one thing is the mysterious voice.
Yeah.
the "who's doing this to you," that makes me think that someone is manipulating her to do this, and that voice is coming through to help her.
To help her, obviously. And let's talk a little bit about some of the so-called Easter eggs. There weren't a lot of them. Obviously, hopefully there's going to be more in the episodes to come. And we've heard rumors that there will be surprise appearances and all kinds of different stuff. But the commercials, first of all, the commercials were pretty cool, right? We got Stark in there, and did we get Stryker in there, or we got
Strucker.
We got Strucker,
Strucker in there, which were done really well, and they were very cool. What did you guys? So we think it might be. Some people think that voice might be Captain America or Doctor Strange. Right. That's pretty interesting. If we see Captain America back in this thing and Chris Evans back in this thing, and I read rumors yesterday that Chris Evans might have signed a deal. Reprise his role. So I wonder if that came out because we are definitely going to see him in this. I don't know. So that's interesting. Anything else? The sword thing was pretty interesting.
Yeah, there was a logo that appeared. I think the first time we saw it was on the TV screen at the end of episode 1, and then we saw it again in episode 2 on the helicopter, and then the beekeeper. And sword is an acronym for Sentient Worlds Observation.
Something defense.
And basically it's like it came out of an X-Men storyline probably about 15 years ago, and it's like SHIELD, but in space. They protect us from other planets that want to do Earth harm, and it's very much a Black Ops type thing where
nobody knows about it.
And they're like, they walk the line between good and bad, but it's mutant based.
Right. Mutant based. Interesting.
And that's
interesting.
Yes, that's where I was in our other video. That's why I was like, if people, if I'm off by a little bit, because I do remember, I know Stark had something to do with it, if I'm not mistaken, with starting it. But it was more than like, and it was also used in the House of X and Powers of 10.
Yeah, they started a sword comic. I think the first issue came out last month.
Yes,
that's part of the new X-Men story.
Universe. So
right. So how about
they're playing with some fire here. If that's the case, man, they are.
Yeah. I don't know how that relates to, because it was also on the Beekeeper, and that costume resembles the comic book costumes of AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, another group of supervillains. They're science-based, kind of like Hydra. But they had these weird helmets that look like beekeepers. But first of all, they used AIM in the MCU in Iron Man 3.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
And I don't really get why they would be affiliated with Sword. And why Sword would be doing this to Wanda.
I wonder if they're there to help Wanda, and we don't know. Oh, no, they had the same logo. You're right. They had the same logo. How about the wine? That has something to do with the House of M?
Yeah, I think that it was a French bottle of wine in the first episode, and the label translated to House of Misery. And House of M, it didn't stand for misery in the comics. It stood for Magneto. It was a comic book storyline. Came out 20, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's about there. Yeah.
So we got mutants somewhere in the storyline. We got House of M somewhere in the storyline. Interesting. Maybe Magneto will be a part of this thing somehow, some way, or we'll find out at the end. Was there anything else that you guys picked up on at all? I know there's stuff about the door numbers of the house and the address that go back to issues and things like that. But was there anything like that stood out? Other than
that, not really. There, what'll happen is what I think is happening is I kind of like this idea. We're not getting like a specific cut part of the comics to be adapted,
like a cookie cutter's part.
We're getting which. And I mean, I've said this before, which is why a lot of people have an issue with the X-Men movies. It's like they didn't glom everything from the source material to give us something. So the MCU characters we have, they're bits and pieces of every single thing from origin to now. Yeah. And you just take all these different elements and you give us the MCU version of these characters.
And we're used to that now. And it was kind of shocking to the system early on.
Yeah,
most of us are.
Yeah.
Most of us are. But they handled it a certain way. So what I'm trying to say is, even though this looks like House of M, right, and we got because it has the same feel as you're reading House of M, and you're reading you're looking at some of the panels. It's like the Maximoffs are royal family. They're like the Kardashians kind of thing. The world loves anything they do. They breathe, and like the world is like, oh my God, the Maximoffs did something. And
but you said they're like the Kardashians. You said everybody loves everything they do. I thought you said.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
TMZ follows Pietro everywhere. Like,
right.
Pietro's seen with another woman. He works fast, like right, that kind of thing. And it's like, we're just getting, and there were just elements there, so the children were there. And, Wanda's just my kids. And when they keep saying for the children, and then it like had this like Stepford Wives, body snatchers kind of thing.
Sure did. Very
when
creepy.
They were like, the main, which, see, now I just want my mind to go crazy. I'm looking at Dottie going, is that the white? Is that Emma Frost? Could that be Emma Frost? The White Queen? Like, this is all
kinds of possibilities.
It's out there, and I love the fact that we know nothing. Like, we don't know anything. Yeah. We can speculate all we want. I love this. This just, it's fresh. It's really fresh. It's not like, this drama. Like, it keeps giving us all, like we sit through this sitcom part, but then all of a sudden, boom, they hit us. And you're like, oh, so this stuff's about to get real, like when we're hearing the rumbling and the explosions in episode 2.
Right.
And, you're just like, okay, stuff's going down. Like, she's compartmentalized, but stuff's going down. Like, there's something out there happening.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very excited to see it. And I'm interested to see what people are thinking, especially people that aren't really into, the Mandalorian. Disney Plus, the Grogu, Baby Yoda brought on a ton of people that weren't into Star Wars, and because of the Baby Yoda and Grogu, and now they're huge Star Wars fans. So I wonder if this is going to excite people seeing such a different style of show, or is it going to put people off? Because I don't think a lot of people were expecting a full 2-hour sitcom, an hour sitcom. You know what I mean? Pretty much. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know how.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's great, and I think people will be talking about it, but I don't know how long they'll be able to, especially because it's weekly, dangle people along, because every other streaming service dumps everything at once.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, I hope people have the attention span for it, because they're doing something very interesting here, and they're not playing it safe.
Right.
And that's a good thing. And like Les said, they're taking the best parts of storylines going back decades. And they're making, in the comics, Wanda is a mutant. Here, she's not, as far as we know, but they might change that. Who knows? Right.
All right, guys. And before we leave, I just want to say that I love what they're doing with Vision. He's giving Vision pretty much a soul. We know he had one, but now he has a sense of humor. His timing and Paul Bettany, wow, great job.
Oh man, he acted
great. Timing great, wonderful, just wonderful.
He acted like he doesn't want to lose his job.
Yeah, exactly.
He totally came out there and put his full. If it's Oxford Academy, whatever he got in England, he rocked.
He's fantastic. So, all right, guys, we really appreciate you guys coming on and hanging out with us. We'll be doing this hopefully every single episode. We got 6 more, I believe, left. So, we'll deal with the lack of sleep to get some info out. If you like what you saw, or if you like some of the reactions that we're going to have, Les and I did a reaction last night, so that's on there on YouTube, but please subscribe, hang out with us. And we also have a podcast, The Sith List, and you can find it wherever podcasts are enjoyed. But until then, we will catch you next week on The Sith List.